Welcome back to the BBynd Self podcast, where we grow daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, back towards our true selves. And today, we have a very special episode. Today, we're going to talk about the war within and 10 steps to defeating the weaker you. So, before we get into the podcast, before we get into this week's episode, there's some things I want to talk about, some things I want to go over and make you guys aware of that I have coming up. As far as the business, BBynd. So, some things to be on the lookout for. I have a hardcover book coming out. BBynd, You Are Who You Are Because of You is actually a re-release. Revised, updated. Some people had, they was talking about the brightness of the pages. So the page is gonna be different. They're gonna be a cream color page to make it easier to read. The margins are gonna be wider. It's just gonna be a lot of little changes in the details behind the book, and as well as it being hardcover. So for those of you that like to wake up early in the morning and drink your coffee, and you might be a little clumsy because it's early. Now you ain't got to worry about messing up that book. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming in December. Also, I want you guys to be on the lookout for BBynd Mondays. Every Monday I release an episode just talking about something to be aware of throughout the week. Something that you can improve on, something that you can develop within yourself to help you become the best version of yourselves. And that's every Monday. It's gonna be posted on my YouTube channel. You can find that at BBynd Self. That's BBynd Self on YouTube. Or if you can't find it by searching that, just search my name as well as that, and it'll come up. Another thing, I want you guys to be on the lookout. I have some clothing coming out. I have the BBynd sweatshirts coming out. I have the BBynd long sleeve shirts coming out and the hoodies coming out. So I want you guys to be on the lookout for that. Also, I have a new logo. So all the merch is updated, and it's gonna be updated with that new logo on it. So I want you guys to be aware, and to be in tune with that and what's going on with the merch. So I have that going back. So it's been sold out for the last couple months, and it's been a lot of things that I've been revamping behind the scenes to kind of polish up the business side of things and, look more professional as a business in general and an overall company. Because my goal and the whole reason of me even putting out my information and who I am is because I want other people to be able to do the same. So I have to be able to present myself in the most professional manner so that people can sort of have a blueprint. So be on the lookout for the new logos. You can go on all my social medias and you can check those out. So you can follow me on Instagram. I have 2 pages on Instagram, one for my morning beyonds, which you can check out. Also, I'm going to be getting my TikTok back up. So follow me on Instagram at BBynd910. That's BBynd910. Also, you can follow my photography page on Instagram too. And that's BBynd Visuals. BBynd Visuals. And you can look both of those up, follow, hit the alert bell so you can find out whenever I post new things, whenever I post things to the story, whenever I post new reels, whenever I post things on my page. So, make sure y'all stay in tune. Also, follow my TikTok. Excuse me. Follow my TikTok at BBynd9. That's BBynd9. So, follow me on there. I'm gonna start posting up my morning beyonds on there again. It's been a few months since I've been on that page, but I'm about to start, getting that page back active. So y'all be on the lookout for that for all the daily motivation. So for your daily motivation, go to my TikTok. For all the weekly motivation, you guys can go to my YouTube where you can find my podcast and you can find all my all my BBynd Mondays. So y'all just be on the lookout for that. So we're going to go ahead and jump right on into the episode. And we're going to go ahead and, get it started. So this week's episode, we're going to talk about the war within and 10 steps on defeating the weaker version of yourself so you can really step into alignment and so you can start shining not to the world but to you so your path can start becoming illuminated. And that's the whole purpose of this. So thing number one to keep in mind is you must keep things in perspective. The things that's important, you must start prioritizing what's important so you can start knowing which direction you need to head into. Like, for me, back in 2015, 2014, I was really like trying to find some direction for myself before I even decided to write my first book. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but it's some things that I always knew what I wanted to do. It's always some things that I wanted, that I was very passionate about. I was always writing, my thoughts. I was always feeding people some kind of positive information. I was always giving people some kind of advice that was, helping them get in tune with their life and who they are and overcome certain situations in their own personal life experience, So I began to reprioritize what's important in my life. And I started taking control and started making decisions based off of the direction I wanted to head into. I started making decisions based off of the person that I wanted to become. And I started living that. I started embodying that energy, and I started to exert that aura. So whenever I started to move, that was who I was. I didn't even have to think. Now it became second nature. So I didn't even have to visualize anymore about who I wanted to become. I was who I was visualizing about. So once I started putting things in perspective and making sure that I remember what was important, then things started moving for me. But only until you put those things in perspective and line up and prioritize your days and your weeks and your months and your years, only then will you start to get any kind of like real structure in your life. So we want to build structure. So all of these 10 steps is going to help us build that structure. So the first step is keep things in perspective. Now let's go into the second step. The second step is once we figure out the things that's important and we start prioritizing that list, now we must fill up our time. Make the most of our time. We must begin to use those little blocks and moments that we have, that we would just watch a little TikTok video, which turn into 10 to 15, 20 different TikTok videos or reels on YouTube or videos or on Facebook or Instagram or whatever your vice is. Instead of using the little blocks of time that you have that we can be taking advantage of, now you can fill that time up with something of importance. Now you can fill that time up with the completion of a goal. Because think of how long most of the things that we do, think of how long it really takes us. Most things that we do, that we have to do, only take us about 10 to 15 minutes. But it take an hour, take an hour and a half, because we be procrastinating, or we be distracted, or we just be in the wrong kind of mind space to be able to get the most out of that time. So until we start putting ourselves in the right frame of mind, which is keeping things in perspective, then we'll start making the most of our time, because then we'll start having at the front of our minds what's important. Now you won't allow yourself to fall back into the old cycles that you used to go into. Now you won't fall back on your old habits. Now you'll start leaning on the new habits that you start building for yourself. And that's what's important. So make the most of your time. The next thing you want to do is read. Educate yourself. Because I don't know why we do it, but as we get older, we stop reading. But even as kids, we had this notion that reading was bad. I don't know where it came from, but the only way for us to find knowledge that's not taught, in a school setting or in an organized environment, the only way to be able to really educate ourselves on figuring out who we are is if we start to read, and if we start to do research, and if we start to look up everything. Because only when we start to expand our mind and expand our vision of ourselves and expand the perspective that we have on our life and start looking at our life from different perspectives and different viewpoints, then we're not really going to have anything of like real meaning, because everything that we would have built is on a false pretense, because we're building on something that's not even us. Most of us live a life of other people's opinions, and we move based on how we think it's going to make everybody else feel. A lot of the things that we do is ego driven and power driven, and it's not real emotion. A lot of that stuff is worldly. And until we get out of that frame of mind and that mindset, then we're not really going to be able to create anything long lasting and worthwhile. So you must read, you must educate yourself, you must teach yourself who you are. You must remind yourself of who you are. You must show yourself the things that you're possible of. And the only way you can do that is if you sit still and read a book. Figure out who you are. Figure out your personality. Figure out your astrology signs and what it means to be who you are. Figure stuff out. Read about space. Read about cars, electricity. Read about different cultures. Read about numbers, math, science. Read about all these different things so you can see what sticks. We're figuring ourselves out. And that's how we going to be able to really see who we are. And like really figure out who we are. So, illuminate yourself. Expand your mind. Get some knowledge. We don't know it all. Our opinion about ourselves is not final. We're ever changing. So change with it. Change with the times. Change with the days as the days go by. Become better. See yourself as more. Learn who you are. Where you want to go. How you move and operate, After you figure out who you are, the next step is to challenge yourself. Do new tasks. Take on new challenges. New things that you never done before. Do things that's going to exhilarate you. Make you feel exhilarated. Things that's going to make you feel excited. Things that you never done before. I went ziplining earlier this year. I'm scared of heights. Terrified of heights, really. But my whole thing coming into 2021 was killing fears. And that was one of the first things that I did that really opened my eyes up to the world, and to what was possible for me. Because just climbing up like 100 feet, I'm sure it was higher than that, but worth of steps, and looking down and looking to the right, over the stairwell, and it's just nothing but air. And anything could happen. I could get dizzy and stumble and trip over and fall, but that's my mind playing tricks on me. So I had to challenge myself to overcome that obstacle within myself. And I pushed through it. And it was the most amazing feeling when I jumped off of that platform and was just flying through the air. I challenged myself to overcome that fear, and it opened up a whole new world to me. Challenge yourself. Take on them tasks that you be like, oh, nah, I ain't doing that. I would never do that. Do that. Find new hobbies. Live your life. Live your life. Because life is what we make it. And life is our choice. We got choices. And every decision is yours to make. So choose happy. Choose positivity. Choose a new direction. Choose better for you. All of this is about you and improving yourself and evolving and just becoming the best version of you so you can see who you really are. The world see who you are. It's time for you to see the best version of yourself because you deserve that. You owe yourself that much. After you found new challenges and new tasks and new hobbies for yourself, create a vision for yourself. Visualize what's possible for you. Visualize what you think is not possible for you. Visualize yourself in them impossible situations and step into that light. Because only you truly know what it is that you want. So follow that. Follow that passion. Follow those visions. It might seem crazy at first, but give it 6 months to flourish. Give it 6 months to watering, and watch how it turn out. Stay consistent. Stay consistent. Make a plan for them visions. After you create a vision, control and redirect your thoughts to the frequency that you want to be on. When negativity come to you, allow it to come. And just like it came, allow it to leave. You don't want to dwell on a negative thought that's not real because it's not real. So don't make something an issue that's not an issue. And that's what we do for ourselves. So when we're talking about controlling our thoughts and redirecting them, that's what you want to do. When negativity come to you, from you, just redirect it out the other direction. You stay in control. It's your life. After you created a vision for yourself and learn how to control and redirect your thoughts and recognize your flow patterns, the next step is to know you. Once you know you, you will know what you want. Once you know what you want, you will know where you're going. And once you know where you're going, you won't allow yourself to be knocked off course or distracted by anything or anybody or whatever environment you go in. You won't allow that environment to engulf you because you know who you are. After you figure out who you are, you must commit and submit to your true self, which is who you really are. Once you submit to that higher frequency of you, everything else you will be seeing from a bird's eye view. Life will become of your making, literally. So take yourself and allow yourself to get to that point and grow and develop and feel what it's like to really be you. Allow yourself to be you because you're great. But until you realize that and until you submit to your greatness and commit to being that person on a daily, weekly, even when it's hard, submit to who you really are. After you submit it to yourself, sit still. Feel what it's like to be you. Feel what it's like to enjoy the things that you enjoy. Feel what it's like to have new positive and productive, constructive habits and new hobbies and new things that you fall back on in times of stress. Feel what it's like to be this new person, making all this money, driving whatever car, living in whatever house, having whatever partner that you want, that you manifest, whatever partner that's put here for you. Your kids is straight. You don't want for nothing. Your family is good. Everybody is thriving. Everybody is growing mentally, spiritually, and physically. You're getting healthy. Visualize yourself in these positions and let it flow. Become that. And then the last step is to believe in who you truly are, because what you think will be. So that's this week's episode. Think of your dreams so much, it becomes what you step into when you get out of bed. So I just want to thank y'all. For those of you who listened and stayed for the entire episode, if you got something from this, please like, share, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, hit that bell button so you can be alerted whenever I drop new videos. I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay great. Y'all stay light. Y'all stay loved. Y'all stay productive. And most of all, y'all be beyond. Have a great week. Peace.